We're very excited that our impact factor for JTH increased so much this year to over 16. It's been a really rewarding experience for both David and myself to be the editors-in-chief of this journal during the past few years, in which we've been able to oversee some important changes to the journal that we think have helped strengthen the journal and make it a popular place for scientists, clinicians to submit their best work. And of course, the COVID pandemic had a major effect on the impact factor of our journal. JTH was seen as an excellent place to send research that had to deal with the COVID-related coagulopathy that turned out to be so important for this disease.
There's no doubt that was one of the major things I think that's driven the impact factor, but there are other things we've done as well. We've made it a lot easier to submit papers to JTH. I think that most authors appreciate that very much. And we have a fantastic group of associate editors, 24 of them, who've been helping us for the last 2 or 3 years. They're all experienced and provide good feedback to the authors. So I think that's also helped the journal a lot.
Another thing that's been really rewarding is not only has the impact factor gone up, but the number of submissions to our journal has gone up dramatically over the past few years as well. So what can somebody do to make sure they have a good submission to JTH? Well, the session that we just held for early career scientists really dealt with exactly that question. Making sure that your study is right for the journal, that's important no matter what journal you submit to. Also paying attention to a number of details in terms of your study design, but also how you write the paper, how to prepare papers, how to think about sending them to the journal, anticipating and dealing with peer review.
We've made changes to things like our editorial board now that is geographically very diverse, but we don't get many papers from certain regions of the globe. That's unfortunate. We really would like to see more papers coming from those areas. But it's sometimes difficult to do clinical and basic studies. So somehow for those investigators, we would appreciate them sending manuscripts to us, but they may need help finding the right mentors to get their submissions into a quality that's likely to be accepted eventually.
So how to submit your work to JTH? The best way, of course, the only way is really through the website. You can go to jth.isth.org and find the submission site. There you'll find instructions to the authors. Please pay attention to those. It's important. However, we have now a format-free submission policy for the initial submission. So as long as your paper is written as a scientific paper and has all the required sections, you do not have to specifically format it for our journal.
The other possibility now is that because of our association with RPTH, those articles which we feel are not appropriate or for whatever reason will not come to JTH, there's a possibility that we'll suggest cascading to RPTH, who will then consider your manuscript.
And RPTH is of course, a really solid journal. It just had a debut impact factor that's nearly 6. It's a really impressive impact factor. So the good news is you have 2 avenues for ISTH journals, JTH and RPTH, both of which are solid, important journals in our field.